Welcome everybody to TDL's July Member Forum. My name is Christy Park. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the director of the Texas Digital Library. I'm so glad everybody has joined us today. We're going to follow our usual agenda, and we have a lot to cover. So I'll begin with some updates on a few different topics, but including an update on our most recent governing board meeting in June. Courtney Muma, our deputy director, will share some highlights on services and project work. And Alex Suarez, our conference planner and administrative associate, will give some community updates. And Alex is also managing our slide deck today, so she's juggling a lot. Thank you, Alex. Our communications manager, Leah DeForest, who is normally here with us, won't be joining us because she's out on vacation, a very well-deserved vacation this week. So we'll have her back with us next week. So moving on into our director updates, I want to start with a big thank you. Thank you to everyone who made this year's TCDL a huge success. It seems kind of like a long time ago now that we had it, but it was just in late May, and we took the month off in June for the TDL Forum. So this is our first chance to say thank you to our community here for making the first ever fully virtual TCDL a fun, informative, and vibrant conference. I felt I had the chance to really connect with members and other participants, despite not being in person, though I hope we'll be back in person next year. I want to reiterate my thanks to this year's planning committee and our chair, Shelley Barba from Texas Tech University Libraries, for making this year's conference a great success. And I want to thank all of you who attended and presented and provided feedback through the post-conference survey. We've been going over those survey results as we think about planning for next year. So that's really helpful to us. Recordings from the events are published now on TDL's YouTube channel. We'll paste links to the session playlist and the poster playlist in the chat box, so you can go rewatch any favorites or catch a presentation that you might have missed. And our TCDL proceedings subcommittee is working on publishing the conference proceedings in TDL's repository. So we'll plan to share a link to that collection in our DSpace at the August member forum. And thank you to that subcommittee for that work. That is a labor of love for sure. In case you missed this year's awards ceremony, we have information in our blog about the winners and nominees for that. And so we hope you'll go find that as well and learn about our winners of TDL awards this year. Next slide. So the next update is about our TDL governing board. Our governing board convened on June 7th for our biannual meeting, our spring meeting. You can see our board members, or some of our board members anyway, on this slide when they posed for a group Zoom screenshot. This is a great group, and we had the chance at this meeting for some hellos and goodbyes. We said goodbye to a couple of deans, library deans within our community. David Carlson, the Dean of A&M Libraries, is retiring at the end of the summer and heading to Kentucky to spend time with his family and grandchildren. He has been a wonderful supporter of TDL and a wonderful leader for Texas libraries and within the TDL community for a number of years, and we're really going to miss him and wish him well. Joan Heath, the Dean of the director of the libraries at Texas State University, is also retiring after 30 years of service there. And she is not currently on the governing board, but has served there for a number of years and has always been a wonderful partner and advocate for TDL. She was instrumental in helping us recalibrate our membership fee model, as well as in developing our current strategic plan, and just has been a wonderful colleague, and we wish her well. We're going to miss both of these folks and thank them for all they've done for TDL. We also got to welcome the new Dean of Libraries at this meeting from the University of Houston, Athena Jackson. She joined U of H Libraries back in February. We're so excited to get to work with her. And we're looking forward to working with Julie Mosbo at Texas A&M Libraries, who is named the interim dean there as they recruit a new Dean of Libraries. So we're looking forward to all these new partners and working with them. Okay, so at this meeting, we did a number of things, and I want to give you an update on some important outcomes from this meeting. So one of the things we did from the staff perspective was provide a report to the board on progress against our strategic plan initiatives. And we also talked about some new initiatives that were recommended by a subcommittee of the board. So that's what I want to talk to you about next. With the adoption of our strategic plan last fall, our governing board charged a subcommittee of its members to consider investments of TDL's cash reserve that would further the mission of TDL and support the success of our strategic initiatives. We're going to paste a link in chat where you can read the background on our cash reserve policy, which requires that we retain a minimum reserve of 3 months worth of operating expenses as an emergency reserve. But our cash reserve has grown over the years to a large enough amount that we have well over that 3-month emergency reserve. And so we wanted to work with our board to think strategically about how we can use that extra money to further our current strategic plan and benefit the membership and our community. So the subcommittee reviewed our current and projected financial status. We looked at how we're allocating resources currently to address strategic goals. And that helped us identify gaps where we feel like we might struggle to achieve our stated objectives without some additional resources. So with that information, the subcommittee proposed the investment of significant dollars from the cash reserve over 3 years, beginning this fall, in several priority areas aligned with our strategic plan. These areas are on the next slide. They include diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. Secondly, metadata aggregation for the DPLA, the Digital Public Library of America, and Vireo sustainability planning. So we have identified a few specific initiatives in these areas where we're going to devote some investment of our cash reserve. First, under DEIA is funding a 3-year TDL diversity residency position, which will provide meaningful professional experience for an early career librarian interested in digital library work. And it will be seated with and part of the UT Libraries diversity residency program, which they've been operating for a few years now. But this one will be devoted and seated with TDL and focused on digital library work. We're really excited about this initiative, and it will start, we'll be recruiting for the position to start in September of 2022. So not this coming fall, but a year from now. So this is something where we're going to be enlisting our community's help to shape this position and support this person who fills the position. And so we're going to be reaching out to many of you to help us with that and make it a really meaningful experience for an early career professional, but also for TDL as a whole. Also in this area, we are dedicating some funds to assessment and remediation of our hosted software platforms, our applications, to meet web accessibility standards. So this has been an ongoing project, but we've got some additional money set aside to do accessibility assessments, and then hopefully to get things up to standard, and we're starting there with Vireo, our open source platform, to make sure it is meeting those web accessibility standards. Third, we are going to fund a 2-year position to coordinate our Digital Public Library of America aggregation service. And that position, we are almost ready to post. We're hoping to get somebody in that position in the fall, this coming fall, to help us with doing outreach to our members about this service, to do training, documentation, and just general kind of service management. We have found that we don't have adequate kind of human capacity right now to effectively manage that service and make sure that all our members have access to it and are using it and know how to use it effectively to get their collections discoverable in DPLA. And then finally, we're going to engage an external consultant to help us assess our Vireo open source software community and help us think through long-term options for the sustainability of that community and that software. We feel like we're at a point now that Vireo 4 is released and we're moving into production with our members. We're at a point where we need to think about what the long-term sustainability plan is for this software and for the community around it. What are some ways that we can shore it up and make sure that it is thriving and sustainable for the long term? So each of these proposals was unanimously approved by our board. So that means TDL is beginning work on these projects right now. As I mentioned, we're going to be posting that DPLA coordinator position sometime next month. And I hope that you're as excited as we are about these investments in our consortium. We're really grateful to have access to the collective wisdom of our governing board and our members doing this work. And so we're looking forward to working with all of you to make these things successful. And I'd be happy to answer questions about any of these at the end of the presentation when we get to the Q&A. Okay, next slide. Next up, Courtney and I are going to share some updates on TDL services and projects. So I'll start with a few updates about DSpace, journals, and OER support, and then I'll hand it over to Courtney. So with our digital repository hosting service, we've got a lot going on. First up, a DSpace 7 update. So the international DSpace community is poised to release DSpace 7.0. The release date is August 2nd, may come out a little sooner than that, but definitely by August 7th. This is a major milestone in the development of this next really exciting release of DSpace. We don't have upgrades planned yet, and we won't because we're waiting for some critical features that will come in a later point release, like 7.2 or somewhere along those lines. We're still kind of monitoring that to make sure that all of the features that our members rely on are included in DSpace 7 before we upgrade. But we will have a sandbox instance up for testing after the release. So sometime in August, that'll be available for folks to test out. Secondly, our system administrator, Nick Lawland, and our software engineer and tech lead, Nick Woodward, have been addressing some technical debt from our DSpace 6 upgrade recently and addressing some performance issues that have cropped up after recent configuration changes. We're going to be talking about that in more depth at the next DSpace user group meeting, which is next week, next Thursday. Nick Woodward has also been open sourcing some code that he developed related to our DSpace enhanced reports and embedded media player so that the rest of the global DSpace community has access to those. And finally, we have 2 members newly using the DSpace Replication Task Suite as part of their digital preservation programs. Texas Women's University and Texas State University have both begun implementing this functionality that pushes repository content to TDL digital preservation storage. So we're really excited to be working with them on that. As I mentioned, our next DSpace user group meeting is next Tuesday. I think I said Thursday before, but it's next Tuesday, July 27th at 10. So if you're a DSpace user, we hope you'll join us for that. Next up, a couple of updates on open access journals. First is that at our last governing board meeting, we approved a pilot membership for TDL open access journal users with the Library Publishing Coalition. So we will be working on that in the new fiscal year starting in September to join the Library Publishing Coalition as a consortium, which will provide some professional development and other benefits to our members who use this service. We are also working within the OJS user group currently on a book chapter that we submitted and were approved to include in a new book on library publishing programs. And we are working on a user guide for our OJS users through the OJS user group. So we're excited about that work. And then finally, a brief OER support update. The Open Texas 2021 conference proceedings, the recordings of those sessions are now available in YouTube. You can find those there and hope you'll take a look at those. We also have recordings of the Open Education Network Summit available. And finally, we have a OER at TDL meeting scheduled in September. You can register for those quarterly meetings through the TDL website. And we're going to paste a few links about our OER support services and how you can stay aware of TDL's OER support services through the TDL OER listserv and some other things, and how you can register for that meeting in September. We hope you'll join us there if you're working in open educational resources. Okay, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Courtney to cover some additional updates.
Howdy, everybody. Thanks, Christy. So I'm going to start with digital preservation services. If you are a TDL Digital Preservation Services member, right now we are in the midst of Ingestapalooza. This means that whichever member ingests the most content into any of their digital preservation storage options, Chronopolis or Amazon, between May 1st and September 1st, will get 1 free terabyte of any storage for 1 whole year, and that year can be in the future. So I've sent some info out in an email, and I'll send another one soon as a reminder. Let's go on to ETD management. Please do save the date for the Vireo user group virtual annual meeting, October 5th, 2021 from 11 to 2 p.m. We've started drafting the agenda for that, and we will have the registration ready for you soon. It is ready for you, I'm sorry, and the link will be provided here. Also, quick update on Vireo. Frank Smutniak has joined us today in the forum. So if you have questions about migration and updating to Vireo 4, he can answer those for you. He's diligently working on getting that first production instance of Vireo 4 live with all of the migrated content from your Vireo 3 instance. Finally, some updates on research data management. We are currently undergoing a Dataverse update, and so our Texas Data Repository users will have an opportunity to review the updated version in our training instance prior to going live in production with the most recent Dataverse. In addition, we want to thank the Carpentrys Cohort. We They put together some reports for us and we presented them to our governing board, and our governing board has approved another year with Carpentrys. This time we're going to the bronze level, which is a lower level of Carpentrys membership, but it's still exciting because we've got 18 folks trained as trainers in Texas, and so we'll have the opportunity to host hopefully some more of our own workshops and also spread the love across TDL membership and the ability to join those workshops. And now I want to share in the next slide, this is a wonderful video that the Carpentrys cohort leads put together. And so I will mute myself and Alex, hit it.
With my departments, physics, chemistry, engineering technology, they don't ask for as much traditional library support as some other departments. So I don't teach a lot of classes. I don't get a lot of research consultations. So I'm always looking for new opportunities to help support their research. So research data management helps support research from all the different areas. And one of our university's big pushes recently is undergraduate research. So I think this is something that would really help at every level in my department.
So
questions about data every year. We used to mostly get questions about tools and software. Now digital scholarship and data are inseparably intertwined. Lots of people are getting involved with data, including in disciplines that you wouldn't expect, like the humanities. And with the certification, I'm going to be able to better participate in our initiatives. Also excited by the opportunity to be a part of a state partnership to provide data instruction. So more and more I see that the needs of researchers exceed the collaborative work amongst I looking great. Thanks.
Thought the instructor training was very valuable. Their focus on teaching to novices is something that was really eye-opening for me as far as the way I teach all of my instruction now, helping people build upon their knowledge in a gradual way. It's something that I have already started incorporating in my other instruction too. Take parts of this Carpentrys curriculum and incorporate those into what I'm doing as well with the courses that I work with.
Institute of Data Science as one of 8 2021 Early Career Fellows. In my application, I referenced this Carpentrys training process. As a result, I will teach a text mining class associated with the Data Science Institute, and I now have a $10,000 research budget from them at my discretion. I'd like to thank the TDL Governing Board and my colleagues in the cohort and those leading it. The Carpentrys pilot has been a very positive development from TDL, and I heartily endorse its continuation. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. So you heard from Jessica McLean of Texas State, Alyssa Guzman of UT Austin, and David Lowe of Texas A&M University. Thanks to all of those folks. The cohort itself is one of the key benefits of this project, and having so many people working on the same training together really creates a support community to help foster growth and partnerships, especially in these research data areas. Oh. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, Alex. Finally, I want to update you on our capstone projects from the spring semester of 2021. First, we have from the spring semester of 2021, Anya Pechanina, PhD candidate in political science at the University of North Texas, who partnered with Dr. Reed Bohm, research data management librarian at the University of Houston, and member of TDL's Texas Data Repository Steering Committee, in fact, chair now. And this was to explore the use of the R client for Dataverse. If you're interested in this, we'll post a link to that presentation on YouTube, and you can watch as she describes to you her process and also what she found in that implementation. And then also in the spring semester, UT iSchool Master's candidate Emily Vernon focused her capstone project on assessing user perception and engagement with TDL members' open access repositories. her work over the 3-month period elucidated consistent patterns across university repositories. And that report names a few of those patterns and notes how some institutions might improve usage by and outreach to students and faculty. So really good stuff from our capstone students. And we're very excited when they join us, and especially excited when our member groups and steering committees pull together to identify these projects for capstone students in Texas. So now I'll hand things back to Alex, who has some community updates for us.
Thanks, Courtney. Hi, everybody. This is Alex Suarez. I'm the TDL Administrative Associate and Conference Planner. We have a couple of webinars coming up that I am the TOHA webinar. On Monday, July 26th, our oral history webinar series is back with a conversation with Jenna Heath, former journalist and professor of journalism and digital media at St. Edward's University, as well as Megan Firestone, who is head of special collections and archives at Southwestern University. Megan and Jenna will discuss strategies for bridging the gap between archivists and oral historians, and it should be a really fun presentation, followed by an open floor discussion. We'll go ahead and paste the link into chat where you can learn more and register. And next month, on August 18th, the ATEC invited to join the Archivematica Texas Users Group Steering Committee to discuss digital preservation using Archivematica. All are welcome, newbies, curious, and pro users. This will be an informal conversation hosted by the ATEC Steering Committee, Bethany Scott at the University of Houston, Juliana Barrera Gomez from UT San Antonio, Sean Buckner of Texas A&M, and TDL's Courtney Muma, and also Lauren Waugh at Texas State University. We will also post a link where you can learn more and register for office hours. Next up, I want to remind you of a couple of conferences that you will not want to miss. Cross Timbers Library Collaborative fosters partnerships among the region's libraries through cooperative staff development, resource sharing, and innovative programming. Their mission is to serve librarians in the Cross Timbers region from southeastern Kansas across central Oklahoma to central Texas with staff development, resource sharing, and innovative programming, and the annual conference hosted by our members at Texas Women's University. It is going to be fantastic this year. We're especially excited that the incoming ALL president, Patty Wong, will be the keynote speaker at this year's fully virtual conference. Registration is free, and you still have a day to register. The annual USC TDA conference will take place online September 22nd to 23rd. The conference is in its 11th year and provides educational opportunities for professionals from graduate schools, libraries, and others who work with electronic theses and dissertations, institutional repositories, graduate students, and scholarly communications as well. TDL is thrilled to sponsor USC TDA once again this year and provide support for their practice-oriented content to support ETD productivity improvement, ETD professionals, advance ETD operations, and encourage the formation to provide useful and innovative resources, standards, and technology for the development and support of ETD programs. And that's it for me. I know it was a whirlwind, so I will hand it back to Christy.
Thanks, Alex, and thanks, Courtney, for those updates. And thanks, everyone, for your patience with our technical difficulties in this session today. But I hope you were able to get the gist and also the excitement that we feel about all of these wonderful things going on within the TDL community and kind of adjacent to the TDL community as well. It's a 1 after the hour, but we can hang out for just a little bit. If there are any questions out there, we'll be happy to answer them. And you can just put them in chat, or you can unmute and ask in your own voice if you'd like to do that. While you're thinking of questions, Alex has posted the next slide has all of the links that we've mentioned in today's presentation, and we'll share out these slides for you so that you can have that. I am not seeing any questions. So I think we can wrap things up. Thank you everyone for being here today. Thanks to Courtney and to Alex for your help with the presentation today. And I hope everybody is enjoying a wonderful summer and continues to enjoy a wonderful summer as we head towards the new semester. Everybody take care, and we will see you next time.
Hi, everybody.